Hi, and welcome to episode 14 of the 5 in 5 Wolves World series, talking 5 things Wolves in 5 minutes. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe and share, tell people about it, and also follow me on my different platforms at northernwolf10 on Instagram and Twitter, and www.wolvesworld.org, where I post articles about Wolverhampton Wanderers. Let's get started. Point 1. It's come to that time of the season where transfer rumours are rife, and with Wolves season all but over with nothing to play for, it's the right thing to talk about on this channel right now. And the first person I want to speak about is Ivan Toney. This is a player who has come from Northampton Town to Newcastle, bounced around and ended up at Peterborough in League One, which his 2 seasons there were absolutely fantastic, scoring 49 goals in 94 games in all competitions. Got him his big move to Brentford to replace Ollie Watkins, where he has scored 25 in just 36 games this year for Brentford, being their absolute standout main man and arguably the best player in the Championship this season. Things I like about Toney is he is quite an all-rounded striker. Sound familiar? Yes, Raul Jimenez. And this is ultimately a player that, while we hope Jimenez is fit and playing for Wolves for a number of years, will eventually need to be replaced. And when he is, a youngish Toney is the man for me. I don't think he'll come at a great expense from Brentford, because I also don't think they'll get promoted this year and he'll be needing and wanting to move. The guy is an aerial threat, he links play, he's smart and intelligent, and he does all his damage in the box. He is capable of more all-round play than that, but the fact that he is a very direct style striker, runs in behind with pace and smart and intelligent movement, makes him an excellent potential signing for Wolves. And if we're going to splash the cash, I'd like to see that happen. He's the main man for me this summer, and there will be others, of course there will, and this may never materialise, but I would like to see it happen. Obvious link is with Watkins, who has come to Villa and done exceptionally well this year. Yes, I think he could have done other things, scored more goals and been better in other ways, but you've seen that success from the Championship to the Premier League from the same club with the same style, and I just think he's a sensible choice. And if he was even the same as Watkins, although I potentially think he could be better, I think that would be a great signing for Wolves, and I hope all fans agree. Number 2, second link we've had in the recent days is Josh Brownhill of Burnley. Now, while I am actually an admirer of him as a footballer, I think this would be a very poor choice from Wolves to go after him. Yes, Moutinho is on his way out and I think will stay at Wolves next year probably, but have a lesser part in the squad. I don't see replacing someone who is essentially a poor man's version of him as the right choice. Brownhill has scored 0 goals in 33 games in the Premier League for Burnley, and Wolves ultimately in centre midfield are crying out for someone to get in the box and score goals, and Brownhill has proven that is not his style of play. So while he is a talented footballer, he's young enough, he's English, and he probably wouldn't cost a great deal, arguably about the same as what the option we have for Vitinha, who I don't think we should continue to pursue. I just don't think he's the right player for Wolves as it stands right now. I do think he's a good player, but Wolves have got to A, be aiming a bit higher than that, and B, they need to try and get more options in the squad. Nuno talks of solutions, and I don't think adding another player of the same ilk as maybe Neves and Moutinho is creating options and solutions. I think it's just going to fill a position which, when you consider Dendoncker can play there as well, I just think it fills a position we don't need, which is another sort of defensive-minded machinist type midfielder. So for me, Brownhill is a no. Number 3, Edmund Tapsoba from Bayer Leverkusen. This guy has not just been linked recently, but also historically as well. He opted to move to Leverkusen in Germany to get more game experience, and he really has. He's played pretty much every game since he moved there, and he is impressed. The guy is 6'4", he's athletic, he's pacey, and he's very composed on the ball. I can't admit to seeing him many times, but when I have, because obviously with the link I've had my eye on him when I've seen Leverkusen, he looks like the sort of player who has the level of composure that some of our defenders don't have. Slotting him alongside Cody and Bolly, if we stick with the back three, gives more pace, more height, a genuine centre-half, and he's hungry to improve and prove himself. And I think that, again, is another area of the team where Wolves are sadly lacking at the moment in quality, and people who play there with this is their definite position. Saiss and Dendonk have done a great job at times, not always, but they aren't meant to be taking a team like Wolves into the top 6 by playing centre-half. So for me, Tapsoba is definitely an option who will not probably come that cheaply, but he is on the way up, and if you're going to buy him, it's now or probably never. And I think if Forsen are really feeling the ambition that they say they are, to come in with a bid for someone like Toney and someone like Tapsoba, that's most of our problems solved from this season in 2 transfers, which might equal maybe 50 million. And I'll come on to why we'll recruit 50 million later on. Number 4, Adama Traore. I feel like there's a continuous theme on my 5 in 5 with Traore cropping up, but I think it's because he is quite simply the most frustrating footballer I've ever seen in my life at any club, let alone Wolverhampton Wanderers. He is still on 0 goals, 0 assists, despite a couple of improved performances recently. We've then seen maybe in the last 2 games he's dropped back to doing very little, especially off the ball, and a team like Wolves need more. When you've got Neto tearing forwards and either Jimenez or at the moment maybe Silva or Jose trying possibly to get in the box to score, you need that third player up in that area, and Traore is not providing that. With him currently not signing a new contract and his form is not looking like he's going to improve anytime soon, or certainly not significantly between now and the end of the season, his value is going to be at its peak now. Yes, last year it would have been higher, but we would have been silly to have sold him last year. For A, we got a small squad, and B, he did have a decent season last year. But we've seen this year the inconsistency and the lack of sort of desire in some ways to get forward is hindering our team. And if we could apparently get the 30 million that we're willing to sell him for, that for me buys at least one of the 2 players I've just discussed, possibly with a bit of change. And with Podence there, who is a class act, I think if we can keep him fit, we're not short of players in the attacking wide areas, because Semedo I also feel could push forward and do a similar job as Traore if needed. So for me, Traore, this is hopefully or possibly his last season for Wolves, unless he really turns things around in the final sort of 10-15 games of the season. And point 5. Liverpool at home Monday night. Now Liverpool's home form right now is 92 out of 92, an astonishing stat that I'm sure you've all seen. They are the weakest team at home. While they are improved or better away from home, they're still not the Liverpool of last season, and there is literally no better time to face them. The reason I brought them up in this is because Wolves have 2 choices in how they play this game. They could sit deep like they did against Man City and indeed others this year and hope to not let Liverpool score, which is quite likely given their low output of goals since sort of the turn of the year. But I think Wolves really need to have a go at Liverpool. We know we're playing for nothing. We're definitely not getting relegated. Europe is going to take a hell of a run to get there, and I can't see it happening. Just have a go at them. I still don't think we'll get spanked like we did in the first game. I think they're not the same, and we have potential with Neto in particular to cause them real trouble against a weak side with centre midfielders playing at centre back, although we know that all too well what that feels like. So I think get at Liverpool on Monday and be positive, and hopefully the result will come. I'll even take a draw. I just want a slightly more dynamic and impressive forward-thinking performance. I can't see Liverpool really hammering us whatever we do, so why not have a go? Thanks very much for watching episode 14 of the 5 in 5. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow me on other platforms at NorthernWolf10, Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next week for the next episode. Thanks guys, bye bye.